The digital inheritance. When likes don't equal love. What kind of fools actually pay her? Dad sneered. There will be no more handouts. I hit send. 6 months later, my brother reached out. I never imagined I'd be the one to shatter our family. The destruction didn't come in a single cataclysm, but as a slow, insidious creep. A hairline crack, then another, until the foundation of everything we'd built crumbled into dust at my feet. I'm 27 years old, and I've been financially supporting my family since I was 19, a fact they conveniently overlooked. Especially my father. The morning the world tilted on its axis started like any other. Sunlight slicing through the gap in my curtains, the low whir of my PC, the soft chime of donation alerts trickling in from my overnight stream. My success felt surreal. 5 million followers across platforms, lucrative sponsorships with top-tier tech companies, a sleek downtown apartment, all from playing video games and connecting with an audience that, for some inexplicable reason, found me captivating. My father dismissed it as playing pretend for a living, a childish hobby, not a legitimate profession. My phone buzzed. 3 missed calls from my mother. A text from my brother, Ethan. When's this month's allowance hitting the account? Raina? Nothing out of the ordinary. My stomach tightened. That familiar, nauseating feeling of being valued only for my bank account. Never for who I was. I shoved it down, burying myself in my morning routine. Coffee, emails, content planning, the rhythm of my actual life, the one they refuse to acknowledge. A notification snapped me back to reality. A message from my longest-standing viewer, now a moderator, Liam. Raina, you need to see this. Now, a link followed. My pulse quickened. Had there been a channel strike? A platform-wide meltdown? The usual anxieties of a content creator flickered through my mind. But nothing could have prepared me for what loaded on the screen. My father's voice, booming and dismissive. She sits there all day, playing video games like a child. And people actually pay her? What kind of morons waste their money watching someone else play games? The camera panned to my mother's kitchen, our family home. Ethan was filming secretly from what looked like the hallway. My father sat at the table with my mother, both laughing. Well, at least she's good for something, my father continued, a glint of malice in his eyes. Her little internet hobby pays the bills. My mother swatted his arm playfully. David, stop. She works hard. But the smile never reached her eyes, that familiar mask she wore when defending me. Ethan's voice, muffled behind the camera. Dad, do the impression. Do the Raina impression. More laughter. My father, hunching his shoulders, mimicking frantically clicking a mouse, making exaggerated, childish noises. Look at me. I'm a professional gamer. So important. Meanwhile, I've never done an honest day's work in my life. The video stretched on for 3 excruciating minutes, each second searing itself into my brain like acid. The family I'd supported, financially and emotionally, completely mocking the very thing that allowed them to live in comfort. The video had over 30,000 views, posted by Ethan on his sparsely followed social media account, with the caption, "When your sister thinks streaming is a real career faced with tears of joy." My hands trembled. My blood roared in my ears. A strange calm descended over me, like a suffocating shroud. 8 years of supporting them. 8 years of monthly transfers, paying off my parents' mortgage, funding Ethan's exorbitant private college tuition, covering emergency medical bills, buying new cars, extravagant vacations, all while enduring their thinly veiled contempt for my chosen path. Deep down, I'd always known how they truly felt. But seeing it displayed so callously, shared publicly for others to sneer at, shattered something inside me beyond repair. My phone buzzed again. My mother. Raina, sweetie, when can we expect this month's transfer? Your father and I are planning that Caribbean cruise we mentioned. The one they'd vaguely alluded to. The one I'd never agreed to fund. The entitlement sliced through me like a serrated blade. I silenced the phone, letting it buzz until it died. What had I been to them all these years? An ATM with a pulse, a resource to be exploited whenever needed, while being ridiculed behind closed doors, and now, apparently, in public, something snapped within me. A resolve, sharp and unforgiving, crystallized in my veins like shards of ice. No more. I opened my banking app, stared at the shared emergency account I'd established for the family. $887,000. My money. All of it. I transferred every last cent to my private account. Then, I drafted a simple email, attached the video link, and added a single line. There will be no more handouts. Ever. I hit send. Disabled notifications. Walked onto my balcony. Inhaled the morning air, feeling like I was finally surfacing from years of being submerged. I felt something close to peace. The storm, of course, was coming. I knew that. But in that moment of clarity, I finally understood something that had eluded me for years. I didn't need their approval. I never had. They needed my money, not the other way around. The realization filled me with a strange, hollow power. My phone exploded with notifications within seconds of the email. Calls, texts, voicemails. I ignored them all. Instead, I streamed that evening as scheduled. Smiled. Interacted with my community. Not a word about the familial meltdown unfolding in my inbox. This part of my life was mine. They had no place in it anymore. 3 days passed in a tense, surreal limbo. I blocked their numbers after the first day, changed my email address, and instructed building security not to allow them access to my floor. On the 4th day, the buzzer rang. Insistent. Angry. Your father is here, Miss Sharma. He's quite agitated. Should I send him up? My heart hammered against my ribs. The fight-or-flight response kicked into overdrive. But I was done running. Yes, send him up. The minutes stretched into an eternity. Each heartbeat a countdown. My blood roared in my ears. The knock came. 3 hard raps that seemed to shake the entire doorframe. When I opened it, my father stood there, face flushed with a familiar rage, the same expression I'd seen 1,000 times growing up, the one that had once made me cower. What the hell do you think you're doing? He shoved past me into the apartment without waiting for an invitation. I closed the door quietly, summoning every ounce of control I possessed. Hello to you too, Dad. He spun to face me, jabbing a finger toward my chest. Don't get smart with me. What's this nonsense about cutting us off? Your mother is beside herself. I held up the video link on my phone. His face flickered. Confusion, then recognition, then a dismissive sneer. That was just a joke. Ethan was just having fun. You know how he is. My chest tightened. The casual way he brushed it off made something inside me crack even wider. A joke, I see. And the 30,000 people who viewed it. They were in on the joke, too. He waved his hand dismissively. Don't be so sensitive, Raina. This is what's wrong with your generation. Everything's an offense. Everything's a trauma. You mock my career, my life choices, the very thing that's been putting food on your table for 8 years. Oh, come on, he scoffed. You sit at home playing video games. It's barely a job. I'm one of the top earners in my field. I built a business that supports not just myself, but an entire family that contributes nothing in return. His face darkened. We're your family. That's how family works. You support each other. Support goes both ways, Dad. When have you ever supported me? He faltered for a moment, just long enough to reveal the truth. We put a roof over your head for 18 years. I laughed. I couldn't help it. The bare minimum required by law. And I've been repaying that basic parental obligation tenfold since I moved out. So what now? You think you're too good for us? Think you don't need family anymore, now that you've got all your internet friends? The contempt in his voice when he said internet friends hit a familiar nerve. But this time, instead of shame, I felt rage crystallize inside me. Those internet friends have shown me more respect and support than you ever have. His eyes narrowed. So that's it? You're choosing them over your real family? I'm choosing myself for the first time. He stared at me like I'd suddenly started speaking a foreign language. The concept seemed utterly alien to him. What about the cruise? Your mother was planning it. We've already put down the deposit. The sheer entitlement stole my breath for a moment. Not my problem. Not your. We're your parents. And I'm your son. not your bank. We stood there in the ensuing silence, two men who shared blood but suddenly realized they were strangers. I'd finally understood the truth about him, about them, about us. The power dynamic of our family had been set when I was too young to know better, but I wasn't a kid anymore, and I wouldn't play that game. His face twisted, a calculation happening behind his eyes, the anger morphing into something more tactical. Your mother will be devastated. Is that what you want? To break her heart? The guilt trip, his most effective weapon throughout my childhood. But it bounced off me now, unable to find purchase. Mom will be fine once she realizes she'll need to budget like a normal person. And Ethan? What about his tuition for next semester? Ethan is 24 with a completed undergraduate degree. If you want a master's, he can get loans like everyone else. His facade cracked further, desperation seeping through. You can't just cut us off. We have bills, expenses, so does everyone. Get a job. The words hung between us, simple, direct, and completely shattering the dynamic we'd established for years. My father's face contorted. You ungrateful little. After everything we've done for you, what exactly have you done for me, Dad? Name one thing in the last 8 years. He opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. Nothing came out. In that silence lay the truth of our relationship, crystal clear for the first time. I think you should leave now. This isn't over, he hissed, moving toward the door. You'll regret this. Family is everything. No, self-respect is everything. I just wish I'd learned that sooner. The door slammed behind him with enough force to rattle the frame. I stood motionless in the sudden quiet of my apartment, waiting for the guilt to come crashing down. It didn't. Instead, a strange lightness filled my chest, like something heavy had been lifted away after years of crushing weight. I walked to my computer, sat down, looked at the stream setup that had built my life, the life they had mocked so thoroughly. For the first time, I felt no need to justify it to anyone. I went live earlier than scheduled that evening. My community immediately noticed something different about me. The chat was filled with questions, concerns. You seem different tonight. Everything okay? I considered deflecting, as usual, keeping my personal life separate, but something had shifted fundamentally inside me. I made a big life decision today, I told my audience. Set some boundaries that were long overdue. It feels right. Support flooded the chat. No questions, no demands for details, just pure encouragement from thousands of people who had chosen to spend their time with me. My real family. In many ways, 3 weeks passed. The silence from my blood relatives was both painful and healing, like a deep wound finally exposed to air after festering beneath a bandage. Ethan tried reaching out once, demanding rather than asking for tuition money. When I didn't respond, he sent a series of increasingly angry texts, accusing me of abandoning the family. I didn't engage. There was nothing more to say. Then came the notification, a small, seemingly insignificant ping that made my stomach drop. An alert from my bank about unusual activity on the emergency account I'd forgotten to close completely. My parents had somehow accessed it, withdrawn the few $100s that had accumulated from automatic transfers, and left it empty. The final confirmation that I'd made the right decision. I closed the account permanently, severing the last financial tie. My mother called from an unknown number that evening. I almost didn't answer. Something made me pick up. Raina, please don't hang up. Her voice sounded small, fragile, in a way I'd never heard before. I'm listening. A pause. We need your help. Your father. He's too proud to ask, but things are difficult right now. My heart ached despite everything. This was my mother, the woman who had read me bedtime stories, who had bandaged my skinned knees, who had also stood by while my father belittled me for years. I'm sorry to hear that, I said carefully, but I'm not in a position to help anymore. But we're family. The same refrain, the same expectation. Family respects each other, supports each other's choices, doesn't mock each other publicly for entertainment. She sighed. That video was a mistake. Ethan knows that now. Has he taken it down? Another pause. Well, no. But then it wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. One with consequences. Raina, please. We're struggling here. We need you. The words I'd longed to hear for years, acknowledgement of my importance. But it came attached only to what I could provide, not who I was. I am sorry, Mom. I truly am. But I can't do this anymore. Her voice hardened slightly, the fragility disappearing. So that's it. Years of family bonds thrown away over one little video. It wasn't the video. It was what the video revealed. What it confirmed about how you all see me. That's not fair. Neither was using me as an ATM while mocking the very work that funded your lifestyle. The silence stretched between us, a chasm too wide to bridge with platitudes. I'll always be your son, I said finally. But the financial support is over. Permanently. I heard her inhale sharply. Your father was right. That internet fame has changed you. No, it showed me my worth. Well, my own family couldn't. I ended the call, set the phone down gently, and waited for the crushing guilt to descend. It didn't come. 6 months passed. Seasons changed. My career flourished even further. A major platform signed me to an exclusive deal worth more than I'd ever imagined possible. The irony wasn't lost on me. That not a real job had made me financially secure for life. I bought a house, adopted a dog, built a life that was authentically mine. The family-shaped hole remained. Of course, certain moments triggered the ache of absence. Holidays, birthdays, random Tuesday evenings when a memory would surface unexpectedly. But the wound was healing slowly, cleanly, without the infection of resentment that had poisoned it for so long. Ethan reached out once more, a surprisingly humble message that acknowledged his part in the rift. Not quite an apology, but closer than I'd expected. I miss my sister, he wrote. The video was stupid and mean. I was jealous of your success and wanted Dad's approval. I'm sorry. I responded carefully. Thanked him for reaching out. Suggested we might get coffee sometime. No promises of financial support. No return to the old dynamic. A tentative first step toward something new, something healthier. My parents remained silent. Perhaps too proud. Perhaps simply unable to adjust to the new reality where their son was not their personal source of funding. I found I could live with that uncertainty. Their absence hurt less than their presence had. The most unexpected change was within myself. The constant need for validation from them, from audiences, from anyone, had diminished significantly. I streamed because I enjoyed it, connected with my community because they mattered to me, made content because it fulfilled me creatively, not to prove my worth to a father who would never see it. 1 year to the day after cutting ties, I received a small package. No return address, but postmarked from my hometown. Inside, a thumb drive and a note in my mother's handwriting. I thought you should have this. I'm sorry it took me so long to understand. The drive contained a single video file. My hands trembled slightly as I clicked play. My father, sitting alone at the kitchen table, looking older, diminished somehow. I don't know if you'll ever see this, he began, his voice rough. Your mother thinks I should record it. Maybe someday you might be willing to hear me out. He cleared his throat, looked directly at the camera with an intensity that made my chest tighten. I was wrong about you, Raina. Wrong about your career. Wrong about a lot of things. He ran a hand through his thinning hair, a gesture so familiar it made my heart ache. The truth is, I never understood what you were building. I was jealous, if I'm being honest. Jealous that you found success doing something you loved, while I spent 40 years at a job I hated. His eyes glistened. Something I'd never seen before. I took it out on you. Made you feel small because I felt small. Used your success while belittling how you achieved it. It was unfair. Cruel even. He swallowed hard. I'm not asking for your money or even your forgiveness. Just wanted you to know that I was wrong. And I'm sorry. The video ended. No dramatic conclusion. No sweeping music. Just my father's face, vulnerable in a way I'd never witnessed before. I sat in the stillness of my home office, the same room where I'd first seen the video that ended our relationship. Now watching another that might possibly begin healing it. Not erasing the past. Not pretending the hurt never happened. But acknowledging it, naming it, taking responsibility. I didn't respond immediately. Some wounds need time, even after an apology is offered. But I saved his video, and for the first time in a year, I allowed myself to remember the good moments, too. Fishing trips when I was young. The proud smile when I graduated high school. Small kindnesses buried beneath years of criticism. Not enough to erase the hurt, but enough to consider that people, even parents, can grow, can recognize their failures, can change. I don't know if we'll ever fully repair what was broken. Some fractures leave permanent scars. But sitting here now, a year and a half after that devastating morning, I understand something I couldn't see then. Cutting ties wasn't about punishment. It was about valuing myself enough to demand respect. Sometimes, the greatest act of love, for yourself and for others, is to establish boundaries that cannot be crossed. To say, this is where I end and you begin. This is what I will accept and what I won't. My career continues to flourish. My community grows. The life I've built feels increasingly solid beneath my feet. And if someday that life includes some version of my family, one that respects who I am rather than what I can provide, I might be open to it. But I'll never again shrink myself to fit into someone else's expectations. Never again fund my own diminishment. That version of Reina is gone. In her place stands someone stronger. Someone who finally understands that real family, whether bound by blood or by choice, lifts you up rather than tears you down. And that's a lesson worth every painful moment it took to learn.